Hello, I'm the Wandering Beekeeper. Welcome. We are in a 1.18.1 survival world peaceful difficulty. We're running the Origins mod with the race set to Merling. This gives me night vision below water, water breathing with the problem of not being able to handle air very well, neutral buoyancy, and vastly increased swimming speed. Because it is a peaceful difficulty world, I was able to, well, rather readily, let me back up a little bit, take over a handy ocean monument. I've cleaned off the building. We'll get into what's over there in a little bit. I've cleaned off the building and renovated and so forth, but oh yes, I did find a Pillager Outpost at one point. I thought it would be amusing to claim some trophies. The entry hall, the armor and weapons have all been recovered from shipwrecks and treasure chests at sunken portal ruins and all that sort of thing. This is all salvage. All salvaged gear. Space for a little bit more. Let's go off and look in here because I do have some overflow inventory. The first two chests that I set up, and eventually I decided maybe I ought to have a few more. That goes into the items sorter, and we'll get to the items sorter in a minute. My living quarters and working space. Yes, I do have a bed. I kind of have to. Various workspace. The auto furnace here has a fuel barrel here and an input barrel here. It's not currently processing anything. There's all sorts of stuff, though, that I've been up to. Oh, those potions are all are mostly water breathing, and they're collected rather than made. I don't have an alchemy station in here. Basic supplies, food, tools. Over here, the farm. Glassed in areas with sea lanterns providing the light so that I can grow wheat and melons and pumpkins and cocoa beans. And then down here I have sugar cane and beetroot, potatoes and carrots. Useful stuff for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is to trade with the drylanders. A little bit of decorative flaunting of mineral wealth. Pardon me. Auto furnaces. I have had enough stuff that I've had to deal with at various points that I've got one that I've used almost exclusively for kelp. The second one that has been churning away at nether brick. I've been cleaning up the ruins, the nether portal ruins that are around, and tidying up these intrusions on our world and bringing all the netherrack back here to barbecue it and turn it into nether brick. And then the blast furnace. The blast furnace has been busy. The amount of mineral wealth that is readily available to an aquatic Minecraft species is phenomenal. Once you are able to swim into the deep ocean caves and mine with no penalty while floating, oh, that's another thing with the Merling mod. I take no floating penalty. Just picking off the outcrops of metal anytime I go exploring has brought me a considerable amount. Which leads to the item sorter. There was a limit to how high I could build it. Could only go 4 chests up because of the vertical space available to me inside the ocean monument. Here we have the input, which is a single barrel so that it can be side loading. If I made this a chest, it wouldn't open because it's tied up against the ceiling. But a barrel opens sideways. Does limit the input capacity, but let's not be too greedy. And then that goes off into the first machinery loop. The first machinery loop goes this way and crosses. Yes, hoppers don't really care about waters. They'll work just fine in an aquatic environment. Redstone does not. And then that goes off that way and goes into there, and it goes on for 2 more loops, and we'll look at those in a minute. Let's come around here and look at the machinery, because there's a little bit of effort that's been put in that I've had to go to. These redstone torches have to be in a dry space. Very annoying. And then there's the machinery up top, which also has to be in a dry space, which looks a little strange. Of course, my night vision cuts out when I walk into this hostile environment, and you can see I'm already losing bubbles rather rapidly. Working in here is on a very sharp time limit, so I've had to put sea lanterns in. Those sea lanterns do double duty as part of the greenhouse on the other side of the wall. Why I located the greenhouse where I did. I've got rather a lot of empty space I haven't done anything with. Haven't really had an idea for it. I did put in an enchanting room. With the 1.18 release, enchanting tables and bookshelves no longer draw in water. Bookshelves will not feed to the enchanting table in a flooded environment. In a water environment, I had to glass in the area and dry it out in order to get the enchanting table working properly. Rather disappointed because in my previous aquatic game I have an enchanting pit that's just a swim. You simply swim down into it. It's you'll have to see it. I'll if this video goes well and if I keep recording videos, we'll get to it. We've already been out this way. There's not much else to see. Just a chamber space I haven't done anything with yet. Let's go look over here. Here is a longer space here, because that is the machinery behind this, which is the big double row. See, there's where it comes in, follows along here, tracks across here at the end through this rather narrow space, and eventually comes to the error and overflow chest, because you must have an error chest for an item sorter. Fortunately, the machinery doesn't care about being dripped on, it only cares about having air, so let's go have a look. Yeah. Now here I had to hang the lanterns inside on the inside of the wall rather than embed them into the wall, because those are exterior walls and I didn't want the lights showing up on the outside of the building. None of these silos have been programmed yet. You can tell because the outer line of redstone here is dark. Oh, yeah. Another space I haven't done anything with yet. If we go over here, and this brings us in the back of that, we can see here, this one's programmed, this one isn't. See, there's nothing there. This one, however, is programmed for birch slab, and I can tell because it's lit up on this side. But it's dark. Little pro tip for those of you who may be new to redstone, those of you who have been using it for a while. Yeah, I'm boring you to tears, sorry. I'm excited about this. This is, right here, the first row of silos that I built in here. I used a lot of prismarine brick, so much so that I ended up going out, finding another ocean monument with peaceful mode engaged. They're all vacant. The structures have no guardians or elder guardians spawning in and around them. And I tore it down brick by brick. And brought all that prismarine back here, so I don't run out of brick when I'm, putting in infrastructure for an item sorter or whatever. That is, I think, about the extent of the chore here. There is, oh yeah, there is a cave down here. It's rather a nice little one. It's got a few glow squid and so forth, and it goes back in a little ways, but and then empty. It has all these nasty air spaces that it keeps trying to empty into. You're not going to see a lot of mineral wealth here. This particular cave, I've already pretty much tapped out. Here's a little bit of iron. Pop. Pop. Remember that whole thing about how mining straight down is bad? Yeah, not so much for an aquatic species. Whoosh. So yeah, this does go on for a little while, but it does reach an end fairly soon. Rather nasty one with a big airspace and all sorts of stuff going on there that I just don't want to get into. So we're gonna head back home. Some bits of iron just aren't worth the effort of trying to get back at it, to get at them. This cave really is not going to give you. There's our lights, which means there's our exit. This cave really just is not going to give you. Well, Okay, I had a thought there. I kind of lost it. Whales are like that. Let's go look at what I've been doing around the outside, around back. I conjured an iron golem underwater. That was a bit of a trick. It involved building a temporary glass structure and conjuring him and then destroying the glass structure and leaving him standing out on the gravel. It doesn't seem to bother him. He's not rusting or anything. And I've started building something of a ghost village. There's an art project. There's the path. It's smooth stone instead of mud, and mossy stone with a copper roof, which isn't corroding, I think partly because it's underwater and not exposed to air, and partly because there's so much of it that it's suppressing corrosion among its neighbors. Yeah, there's a sort of a farm. It's just planted in kelp and seagrass and has ice instead of water, of liquid water, because, you know, there's liquid water all around it. And I put a gold helmet on the scarecrow to make it look kind of like a farmer with a straw hat. The next building is going to go here. I haven't quite decided what it's going to be yet, and I'm thinking about it. This is a long-term art project. Over here, a couple of experiments in trying to build rail underwater. Didn't work out real well. There it is. There's the mine cart. Let's go drop in on this one. It'll shut the door automatically. And that is the fastest speed you can get. It just does not go very quickly. The resistance is too much. This one is even worse. I can get in there. I need to put a landing block on it. On the other hand, I only have to worry about breathing and such when I'm in the station, so, you know. And that's it. Life as a hermit crab. Living in a cast-off ocean monument. In an aquatic Minecraft environment. There are a few things I could do with this series. There's the possibility of going shipbreaking or going out and cleaning a portal, doing a deep explore, finding one of the really deep caves and going zapping through it, swimming through one of the really big ones at sprint speed is amazing. It's like flying. One of the things I really enjoy about the aquatic environment is the freedom of movement in 3 dimensions. But then, so many of us want to fly. I'm the wandering beekeeper, and at least I've learned how to swim. Thank you for joining me.